Good morning, boys and girls. Good job. Let's stand as the flags come as we start Wonder World Vacation Bible School. Let's begin with the pledge to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country, 'tis of thee. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. The pledge to the Christian flag. I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag and to the Savior for whose kingdom it stands, one Savior, crucified, risen, and coming again, with life and liberty to all who believe. Onward, Christian soldiers! Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the royal master leads against the foe, forward into battle, see his banners. Okay, let me hear you now, boys and girls. Ready? Onward, Christian soldier, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. And now the pledge to the Bible. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart, that I might not sin against God. The B-I-A. Ready? The B-I-B-L-E. Yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God. The B-I-B-L-E. Good singing, boys and girls. Every head bowed. Let's all bow before the Lord here. Every eye closed. Let's ask God to bless. Lord, thank you for a wonderful day yesterday, and I pray that today will even be a greater blessing for each of the boys and girls and each of the adults that are here. Thank you for all that you're doing in Jesus' name. Amen. Oh, what did the organ just say? Sit down. Let's see if it says something else. You ready? All right, stand up. Let's practice one more time. Just wait till you hear it. Okay, you ready? All right, let's stand and we'll sing our theme song, our Wonder World theme song, and let's really learn it because we want to do a great job at the final closing program on Friday. You ready? Everyone can come to Wonder World. Everyone can join the fun for boys and girls. Stories to explore, Bible stories here and more. Your adventure is in store at Wonder World. Everyone come to Wonder World. Everyone can join the fun for boys and girls. Wonder World. Wow, not bad for the first time. And we're still learning it. Boy, you all are sharp. Let's do it again. Do you think you can do it better now? You're getting it? Are you ready? Everyone can come to Wonder World. Everyone can join the fun for boys and girls. The tories to explore, Bible stories here and more. Your adventure is in store at Wonder World. Everyone can come to Wonder World. Everyone can join the fun for boys and girls. Wonder World. Good job. All right, you ready to go to Wonder World? To go up in that Wonder World laboratory and see what is happening? Okay, everybody be really quiet and let's go to Wonder World.
Space station. Scientists here at this wonderful Wonder Lab have discovered a way to refine the galaxy's most rare element. I'm Captain Cosmo. These are the Space Rangers, and my crew and I are here to take that valuable element back to Earth. Lieutenant Lightspeed, report.
Yes, sir. Sadly, sir, the situation seems to remain the same. We discovered a virus in our computer systems 2 days ago when we docked here. We can't leave until the systems are cleared. Dr. Faraday is diligently, even now, working on it in the Wonder Lab. Sir.
Thank you. And how about you, Oswald?
Hiya there, boss.
Do you have anything to report? How have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been working on a plan to shrink Orion's belt.
Now, why would you try to shrink Orion's belt, Oswald?
Because it's the biggest waste of space. Get it?
Oh, Oswald, that's a terrible joke.
Oswald's our summer intern. As we said yesterday, he's not the brightest star in the galaxy.
Captain Cosmo, I feel so much safer now that you and the Space Rangers are here. We've known each other for a long time, Captain.
Yes, we have. Yes, have you been able to find that titanium canister and put it in the hole?
Yes, that canister, Captain, contains the rarest element in the entire galaxy. I have hidden it where the nasty, mad scientist Dr. Discord and his scientists will never find it.
Have no fear. I reset the access code to a 3,000-digit number that only I can remember.
Wow, that's amazing. What was the password before you reset it?
1, 2, 3, 4. And now I must go check on our other guests. But first, would you fix my leg?
Sure. Whatever you need, man.
Thank you.
Let me know anytime.
Captain Cosmo, I have good news. We have succeeded faster than I thought we would in excising the virus from your computer system.
Thank you, Dr. Faraday.
Yeah.
It was nothing. We will have you back in outer space and on the way home in no time at all.
Dr. Faraday is the head physicist here at the space station. In fact, he's the only physicist here at the space station. You can tell how smart he is by just looking at those glasses.
I got glasses.
You have 2 glasses.
Oh no. Ah!
Okay.
cookies. That wouldn't even go well on a plate by itself, let alone in a tube.
Mike, it looks like everyone's gonna pass on lunch today.
Or we're gonna pass out. Yeah.
But it's so convenient. No need to do victory.
I just drank. Oh, Oswald! Okay.
Come with me, Miss Moon Pie. We'll go back to the kitchen and try it again.
Yeah, please. Something better this time.
Should we post a guard, sir? Should we post a guard?
Hey, we should go post a guard at this titanium canister before anybody can get in. I agree. Oh no. Who are these people?
Captain, there are no mad scientists here. Only that small group of tourists who just showed up a few days ago.
Kepler, yesterday those tourists tried to capture me.
Not now, Robo. I'm trying to show hospitality to our guests. So, what brings you here to our galaxy, friend?
Well, nothing special, boss. We just was wandering around the universe and, well, you know, we thought we'd stop on in. We're from Texas on vacation. Isn't that right, y'all?
Yeah.
boss.
We went on a tour of the solar system,
Nice.
but the reading wasn't really that great.
It only had 1 star. And while we was moseying around the universe, well, we heard that food out here was outstanding.
Oh, well.
Yes, so just point us to the titanium canister and we'll be on our way.
What was that?
She said the tiny canteen, luncheon canteen. She said, point the way to the luncheon canteen. We'll be on our way. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Captain Cosmo, they'll try to capture me again.
Please, no autographs. Say, these Space Rangers, let's go secure that canister.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I must go help Dr. Faraday expunge that virus.
At last, now we're on our own. Grab that robot.
We invented a way to control you. Now you have to do what we say. Well, it's not really working for me.
I'm the genius of the galaxy. Let me try. Ooh, big video game. Please love video game. Yes.
Please help me.
Hiya there, Robo Bunny. Did you say something?
Help.
Do you need help, Robo?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I see. You're shaking your head no, so that means no. Is everything all right then?
No.
I see. You're shaking your head yes. So, okie dokie, super duper then.
All right, now listen up, Rust Bucket. You are going to do what we want because we want what's in that canister, and you are going to help us get it.
Oh no, boys and girls, what's going to happen? Come back tomorrow and help me, please.
Help him. We'll help him. Goodbye, kitties.
All right, boys and girls, it's time to smile. How many of you brought your smiles with you here to Bible school this morning? Let me see those smiles. Very, very good. I've got a couple special treats here to give away this morning here. Who of you brushed your teeth? You can't smile until you brush your teeth. Here's a young man smiling so nice, and a young lady. Good job. Who's got Pop Rocks? Who would like a little pop? Oh, look at this here. All right, who's around here smiling nice? Okay, there you go. All right, a lot of good reasons. I've got some more here. Let's see here who's smiling nice and big and bright here. There you go, young man and young lady. There we go. All right, I hope you brought your smile with you to Wonder World here today. We have got so many things going on. Now, here is our memory verse for today. Our speaker yesterday told us this verse, Psalm 19:1. What does it say? The heavens declare the glory of God. Let's say that again. Ready? The heavens declare the glory of God. We learned that the universe shows us how great God really is. And God is an amazing creator. Let's find out who is your favorite strange animal this morning. We'll find out with the cheering here. Okay, here's our first one. This is the blob fish. This fish actually lives about 1 mile underneath the ocean water, underneath all of the weight of that water. And when you bring it up to the surface, it turns into a blob. But when it's down underneath the water, it actually looks pretty normal. That's the blob fish. That's pretty incredible. Here's another one. This is the Pacific barrel eye fish. The barrel eye fish. It's actually really small, about that length, but it has a transparent skull and skin over its eyes, and it uses those eyes to steal food from jellyfish. So there's your barrel eye fish. So what is your favorite here this morning? The blob fish or the barrel eye fish? So let me hear you on your cheering here, okay? For the blob fish, on 3. 1, 2, 3, blob fish. Okay, now for the barrel eye fish. 1, 2, 3, barrel eye. Wow, that was too close to call. We're gonna have to try a second round here. Okay, make your decision. Is it the blob fish or the barrel fish? Ready? For the blob fish. 1, 2, 3. For the barrel fish. 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, I guess our winner is the barrel eye fish. All right. Okay. Now, every day you come to Wonder World, you earn Wonder Points. Just by coming today, you earn 100 points. By bringing a visitor, you earn 100 and 300 points for special day visitors. And today is one of those days. Today, it is Grandmom's Day. Let's see if we've got any grandmothers here in the back. Let's see a wave of hand, grandmothers. Look at that. Let's cheer it for the grandmothers. Thank you. Wow. If you brought your grandmother here today, you earned 300 Wonder Points at Wonder World. So grandmothers, we've got a special program for you. Refreshments and workshops and a special time down in the fellowship hall. So grandmothers, we're glad that you're here. You're going to be able to spend your Wonder Points at the daily fair. We're going to do that today. On Friday, we're going to have all sorts of awards there and prizes. 100 points for the bronze prize, silver prize, gold prize, 600 points. That means in order to get the gold prize, you've got to bring a visitor. I know you're working hard at that, but that's the only way to get the gold prize. And if you bring several visitors, you may get the 1,000 point prize, the platinum prize. And we're going to find out who will be our king and queen of Bible school. In fact, let's do that right now for today on Tuesday of Wonder World. Let's see if I've got my helpers here with me this morning to find out our king and our queen. Yes, coming with us here. What's your name? Captain Cosmo. And who do we have? Miss Moon Pie? Something like that. All right, let's find out who our king of Bible School Wonder World on Tuesday is. We're going to start with our king. His name today is Mr. Noah Zepnik. Where is Noah? Yes, here he is. Come right on up here. Good job, Mr. Noah. Our king today. Let's get that crown ready for him. You got the crown. There you go. There's your certificate. And here is an envelope filled with all sorts of prize coupons. Let's look at those. Here's one from Robert's Custard, Cousins. You've got Burger King, Dairy Queen, McDonald's. Okay, choose your favorite soda over here, young man. And yes. Okay, 7-Up, there you go. And here is your brand New Testament. And a very cool Geo. You open up that rock inside there. Is it gem? Okay, smile, King Noah. Yes, there we go. Good job, young man. Thank you very much. All right, and now our queen for today is Miss Zariah Pokey. Where is Zariah? Where is Zariah? There she is. Come right on down. You are our queen for the day. There's your certificate. Here is your envelope filled with all those prize goodies. Here is your New Testament. Choose your soda over there. Okay, Sprite it is. All right, let's take your picture here on our Wonder World smile. There we go. Okay, good job, Queen Zariah. There you go. All right, and here's this. All right, just a few more announcements. We're keeping track of our number one king, number one queen of the whole week. You get that by bringing the most visitors combined for all the days. We're going to give away a kids' study Bible, one of our special speakers' books, and coupons to Little America Amusement Park. That'll be at our closing program on Friday night. Now, keep bringing your visitors. When you go home, invite friends, family members to join you. They can sign up online, give us the parental permission, and you can bring them to Bible school. Now, today is Grandmom's Day. Tomorrow is Mom's Day. And we've already got moms here today. Every day this week is Mom's Day, but tomorrow is our special day for our prize contest. So you bring your mom, your stepmom, you bring them with you here to Bible school tomorrow, and you'll get 300 Wonder Points. And then Thursday is Dad's Day, Granddad's Day. Now, we've got to do something special for the men to get them here, so we're going to appeal to their tummy. Yeah. So we're going to have an absolutely free, all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for the men on Thursday. And so you invite your dad to join you at Wonder World for Thursday, a very special day for all the men. There are some souvenirs back in the table in the lobby. You can buy stress ball, sunglasses, t-shirt that says Wonder World. We've got a pink color, a green color, bright colors in the water bottle. So you can stop by in the lobby and pick that up. Later on today, in just a few minutes, you'll go by the Creation Cinema. The Discovery Lab is waiting for you with our NASA scientist, Dr. Kojima. And then for all of our adults, our Answers for Life workshops for women, for men. And Ron Visser is our key teacher there, presenter. And yesterday was fantastic. We're looking forward to hearing from him again today. All right, now it is time for our competition between the boys and girls called Elemental Explosion. We are purchasing coal rocks, neon gemstones, silver blocks, and gold bricks to find out who brings the most to their can here for our Explosion Penny Parade. So come on down.
For our Elemental Explosion, who's going to win today? Who's going to win today? Let me hear you. Who won yesterday? The boys won yesterday. Are the girls going to win today? All right. Okay. We're going to see who's going to win today. All right, don't come up until you are told to come up. Do not come up yet. Do not come up yet. All right, we need primary 3 to come up. Primary 3. Primary 3, come up. Primary 2. Primary 2. Primary 2, if you'll come up. Primary 1. Primary 1. Primary 1. Okay, let's see who's ahead. All right, now the boys are ahead. Let's take Junior 4. Junior 4, Junior 4, Junior 5, Junior 5, Junior 5, come on up. And finally, Junior 6, Junior 6, come on up. All right, anything else? Okay, let's see. The winner for Tuesday of Wonder World goes to the boys. Oh my. The girls are not doing well. How many do the boys have? 2. How many do the girls have? 0. Who's going to win tomorrow? Are the girls going to come back? Are the girls going to be able to win? All right, we need everybody to work hard and be part of tomorrow's Penny Parade Elemental Explosion. Good job, boys and girls. All right, that's amazing. Boys have taken a commanding lead, but I think the girls can come back. We will see what happens. All right. Well, we had a wonderful start yesterday with our featured speaker for this time. Scientist Bruce Malone. And let me just remind you, boys and girls, how important it is to focus in here, because you're going to learn things today that'll be a tremendous blessing and help to you. Mr. Malone spent 30 years working as a research leader for the Dow Chemical Corporation. And all of his work, he has 17 patents. But God worked in his heart, and he left that and became the director of Search for Truth Ministries. And he's spoken to 170,000 folks in 1,500 talks, and he has been used all over the world, literally, to bring truth to young people and to adults. He's either authored or co-authored 8 books, and so welcome, if you would, Mr. Malone.
Oh, we're going to have fun this morning. Fun learning about science, but more importantly about God. Okay, I need my fun stuff up here. So, we always like to start by learning how much you guys know about the things God has made. Okay, let's start up our slides. We'll just pull them right up. And there's all these animals. Okay, today we're going to look at some amazing creatures that God made. But not like the really, really big ones, like the lions and tigers and bears. We're going to start by looking at some of the smaller creatures, because we can get this awesome understanding of the awesome God who made it all by looking at what he made. Now, we're not going to start with really big creatures. We're going to start with really, really small animals that God made. Now, normally we think of the animals that God made that are small like insects, kind of like maybe a dragonfly. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Now, everybody has to answer, and there's 4 choices. What is the biggest dragonfly we've ever found? Is it 4 inches long, about that big? Is it 10 inches long, about that big? Is it 20 inches long, about that big? Or is it 40 inches long, about that big? Now, wait, okay. Now, shh. Everybody gets to vote, and this is how I learn how much you guys know about nature and science. So you only get to raise your hand one time. Don't raise your hand every time. Just one time, and you're going to vote. Which one do you think is the right answer? How many think The biggest dragonfly is 4 inches long. Okay? Okay, I'm going to count. There's maybe 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of you. Okay, lower your hands. You can't vote again. How many think 10 inches long? Raise your hand. That's about that big. Okay, there's about 20 of you that believe that big. How about 20 inches long? Raise your hand. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So 20, or 10's the best vote so far. How about 40 inches long? How many think that? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not very many of you, maybe 10 of you. So most of you think the biggest dragonfly's about 10 inches long. Let me show you the biggest dragonfly. It's 40 inches long. Whoa! But do you know what? That dragonfly isn't around anymore. They found a fossil of a dragonfly in the ground that was buried during Noah's flood. Back before the flood, when God made Adam and Eve, he made lots of animals that aren't even alive today, like a dragonfly as big as an eagle, 40 inches wingspan. But we're not going to talk about insects. We're going to start by talking about the smallest animal that God has ever made. And I'm going to take you to a cornfield in Wisconsin that has the biggest maze in the entire world, right here in Wisconsin. And every year the farmer uses his tractor and he plows a picture in the cornfield that you can walk along the maze. You ought to go to this. In September and October, you can go visit his cornfields. This is what it looks like from an airplane. See, he carved a picture of this little animal, and it's called a tardigrade, in the cornfield. Now, this isn't an insect, and it's not like a little bug. It's an actual animal, and here's what it's the smallest animal that has legs, and it has 8 legs, and it's only, hold your thumb and your forefinger together like this, and get it as close as you can get it without touching. Are you ready to doing that? Hold your 2 fingers, close as you can get them, and look how small that gap is. You can put 4 of these little animals on the edge of a dime. That's how small they are. Here's what they look like. Isn't he cute? He's like so cuddly. I kind of like to go to bed with him. He's so cute. But he has 8 legs. Now there's something, okay, I want you to do something for me. After I show you what these animals can do that no other animal in the whole world can do, each one of them, I'm going to show you 7 animals. Let me finish. I'm going to show you 7 animals. I want you to say, wow, that's awesome. Okay, let's practice. Okay, isn't that animal really cool? Oh, I couldn't even hardly hear you. Surely you can shout louder than that. Wow, that animal's really cool. That's right. Because God made it. They couldn't have made itself. Now, scientists started to study the little tardigrade, and they realized he needs oxygen to live. So they thought, well, I wonder if he can live very well without oxygen. So they put him in this big tank, and they sucked all the oxygen out. And he just kind of flopped over like he was dead. And they waited, and they waited, and they waited. And then they let the oxygen back in, and he just stood right back up, and he came back alive. He could live without oxygen. They thought, wow, that's really neat. This guy doesn't even need oxygen to live. So they decided to try something else. They thought, well, wonder if we send people into outer space where there's no oxygen, there's lots of radiation from the sun. See, the sun puts off all this radiation, and God made the earth with a magnetic field. That's why compasses work. And it makes that radiation go around the earth. But some of it still gets here, along with the light. And that's why we have to put sunscreen and hats on so we don't get cancer and our skin doesn't get really diseases. Because there's radiation from the sun. Well, the scientists made 1,000 times more radiation against the little tardigrade. Zap, 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 zap. They zapped him with all this radiation. And they wanted to see, is he going to die? and he was just swimming around in the water, and it didn't hurt him at all, and his babies were the same. He was really, really resistant to all that radiation. So radiation didn't hurt him. And they thought, wow, that's amazing. We can't seem to kill this guy. So do you remember the blobfish? He lives 1,000 feet down in the ocean, and he just turns into a blob when he comes up. Well, they thought, this guy lives in water. I wonder if we can crush him, and that'll kill him. So they decided to kind of almost like step on him with 1,000 times more pressure than he has when he's in the water. So they push down on him, and he like squishes out like really flat. And when they let go, he just pops right back, and he was still alive. They couldn't kill him by crushing him. So then they decided to do something else. Here's another one, by the way. He's not as cute, is he? Can you count his legs? How many legs does he have? 8. He's an animal with 8 legs. They decided to boil him. So they dropped him in boiling water. Boil, boil, boil. And that's how we kill bugs so they don't give us diseases. We boil the water. But when the water quit boiling, he was just still swimming around. They couldn't kill him by boiling him. So then they thought, well, we'll take all the water away. And they went into really dry tombs where there's no water. And they found some dead tardigrades that are just laying there. And there was no water, so they couldn't swim. And they came and they put a drop of water on him. Bloop! And when he got water on him, he came back alive and started swimming around. Even though he'd been laying there for hundreds of years, he still came alive. And last, they decided to freeze him. So they put him in water, and they froze the water, and they made it really, really cold, and he's just frozen inside of the ice cube. And when they thawed out the ice cube, he came right back alive. They couldn't kill him by freezing him. They couldn't boil him, they couldn't freeze him, they couldn't step on him, they couldn't take away his oxygen, they couldn't irradiate him. He's like, they couldn't do anything to kill him. Isn't that cool? You forgot what to say. Try it again. Isn't that cool? It is. These are the kind of things God makes, so when we look at them, we know they couldn't have made themselves, because God wants us to know He made these things. Now, He's like a superhero that you just can't kill. Let's look at another one. Now, he's a little bit bigger. He's called the sea sapphire. Now, this little animal, he's about that big, about ½ an inch long, and he lives in the ocean. And he swims around, and he's a beautiful blue color, almost like a jewel. He's called a sapphire because he's a beautiful blue color. Now, the reason he's blue is when light comes and it bounces off of something, all of the different colors of the rainbow get absorbed except for the one you see. Like my tie has frogs and has red. Well, where the light hits the red, the green and the yellow and all the other colors, the orange, it's absorbed, but the red bounces back. With this little animal, when light hits him, all the colors get absorbed, but blue bounces back, so he looks blue. But he's like a butterfly, and his body has all these little scales that are like little transparent windows. And the blue bounces off the window, but when he turns, the window's at a different angle, and all the colors pass right through him. And his body's made of a clear fluid, just like what's in our eyes. It's very clear. And it bounces off the bottom of the ocean, and it comes right back. He becomes invisible. You know, God made an animal that can become invisible. This is so cool. It's like a superpower. Watch this little video. They're filming him with a camera, and every time he turns, you'll see the ocean underneath of him. He just disappears. He becomes invisible. Here it is. So there he is. And he just turned. Did you see? He became invisible. He's not there. And he's turning. Oh, there he is again. He turned back, and now he's invisible. And now he's turned, and now he's invisible. God made an invisible animal. Isn't that cool? It is. Number 3 creature. Everybody knows about honeybees. I mean, we all like honeybees because they make honey and they pollinate the flowers and they help us in many, many ways. Well, scientists like myself, we decided, let's figure out how smart are honeybees. Now, we've always known a honeybee has a brain. It's about the size of a grain of sand. So compared to us, honeybees aren't very smart because we got a great big brain. Well, the scientists from Princeton University, they decided to see how quick can honeybees learn something new. So they did an experiment. Here's a honeybee. And they had a bunch of bees in a hive, and they marked them with something like a radiation so they would know when a honeybee from that hive would show up at a certain flower. And then they put a whole bunch of really good food about 200 feet away, about from here all the way to the back of the auditorium. And they stood there with their detector, and they're waiting for a honeybee to show up. And as soon as a honeybee shows up, they start a stopwatch. Well, that honeybee wants to tell the other friends in its hive where the food is. So it immediately flies back to the hive, and it does a little dance. You see that one bee in the middle? It's kind of wiggling. Its wings are out, and it's wiggling. The honeybee goes back to the hive, and it gets down, and it starts wiggling its butt like this. And it's just walking along, and it's wiggling its butt, and all the other bees are watching it. Oh, what's that bee doing? What's George doing? What's he trying to tell us? Well, scientists figured out like 30 years ago that bees do a little dance to tell the other bees where to find food. What they do when the bee comes, and when the bee comes and it sees a flower, the bee looks and says, where's the sun at? And what's that angle from the flower to the sun? And then it goes back to the hive, and it does its dance, that same angle from the honeycombs, those little octagonal, hexagonal cones, to the line of its dance is that same angle. So all the other bees know what direction to fly. And the number of times it goes back and forth or around in a circle tells them how far to fly. So that little bee can tell all the other bees where to go find the food. And it took them 10 minutes from when they hit the stopwatch until a bunch of bees showed up, because the other bee had told him that. Now, people who believe in evolution, they believe that all just happened. That was just, God didn't tell them how to do that. God didn't make their brains. God didn't give them instincts. It just happened. And because they leave God out, they don't believe God made that creature. But think about this. Way back when bees didn't know how to have this dance, suppose a bee showed up and it went back to the honeycomb and it starts wiggling its butt and walking through all the other bees. And they're just looking at it and they're saying, why is he wiggling his behind? Why is he trying, what's he doing? What's he trying to tell us? They wouldn't know unless God gave them little brains to understand exactly what they needed to do. So then the scientists moved it 400 feet. And as soon as a bee showed up, they started their stopwatch, and 10 minutes later, a bunch of bees showed up from the hive. Then they moved it 600 feet. And as soon as a bee showed up, they started their stopwatch. And 10 minutes later, a bunch of bees showed up from the hive. Each time, the bee would go back and tell the bees where to come find the food. So then, they covered it up, and the bees went away, and they moved the food 800 feet away, and they uncovered it, and they turned on their detector, and there were already hundreds and hundreds of bees buzzing around in that spot, waiting for them to show up with the food. You see, the bees didn't want to waste time flying all the way back to the hive and then coming back again. They saw what the scientists were doing. Each time they moved it 200 feet. Each time they moved it in the same direction. So this time they just went and waited for the scientists to show up with their food. They were smarter than the scientists. Isn't that cool? It's like, God is so cool. Okay, now I'm going to get bigger and bigger. I'm going to show you a little slug and what a slug can do. So here's a picture, here's a little movie I made of what we can learn from the things God made. You know, God told us to take dominion over creation in the book of Genesis. That means to study, understand, and control it. Now, why? Because we can learn so much from it. I mean, we can even learn from a slug. A slug, you say? Yeah. It turns out that there's a certain kind of slug that lives in northern Europe
that slugs, when they move, they leave a slime trail. It's just kind of a sticky, gooey, watery thing. You can actually see their trail as they're crawling along. Well, scientists started to study this slug from Europe, and they realized their slime is very, very elastic, which means you can stretch it and it'll snap back, and very, very sticky. Now, for years, scientists have used things like super glue to bind up wounds, and they thought, it's a little toxic and it turns a little brittle. What we need is a really flexible glue that will stay sticky. And they discovered this slug slime and thought, these has the perfect characteristics for glue. Now, don't get too excited about, having some slug slime slapped onto your cut, because it takes a lot of slugs to form enough slime to fit the market. And, slug slime farms aren't exactly practical, because the slugs only exude this kind of slime when they're scared, because they don't want birds. Like if a bird's flying overhead, out comes the sticky slug slime glue. And if the bird comes and tries to pull the slug off the sidewalk, it's stuck to the sidewalk. So the only way to get the sticky glue is to scare the slugs. And slug slime farms aren't exactly practical. I mean, you set up a movie theater, you put all your slugs on the seats, and you show them movies of scary birds, and then you scrape the slug slime sticky glue off the seats. I mean, not exactly practical. So what do? They figured out how to synthesize it. And we now have the formula for sticky slug slime glue that is currently being used to seal up wounds. Isn't that cool? Because we figured out what God did first. So we can learn from creation, develop products that benefit us in a multitude of ways, even slug slime glue. What a slugger of an idea.
Isn't that cool? By the way, for you moms, out on my product table, there's a flash drive, and it has 70 of these little 2 and 3 minute videos that make great little things to show kids before meals or at bedtime or whatever. Just that reminder, God's doing all this cool stuff. Now the next creature, there's no other animal in the whole world that can do what this creature does. It's called a marine iguana. Now this guy lives on an island in the Pacific Ocean, and he's a vegetarian. He eats plants, but he has to eat plants in the ocean, like kelp and all sorts of seaweed and stuff. So he wants to go swimming around like this and just eating food. But he's got a problem, because he's great big. He's like 4 foot long, and he's big and fat and juicy. And all around his island, there's a coral reef. And in coral reefs, there's sharks. And sharks love to eat iguanas. Eating one of these iguanas is like getting a great big fat juicy hot dog. So he's afraid to go in the water. I mean, suppose there's 2 iguanas and they're sitting on the shore and they're thinking, oh, I'm really hungry. If I don't get something to eat, I'm going to die. Have you ever been so hungry you just think you're going to die if you don't get something to eat? But he says, but if I go in the water, the sharks are going to eat me and I'm going to die. So I'm going to die if I eat, and I'm going to die if I go get something to eat. See, the problem is sharks have really bad eyesight. They can't even see very well to see the things that are swimming in front of them, but they really have good hearing. And when the iguana goes in the water, its heart goes bump, 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 bump. And the shark hears the heart, and it just zooms right in and eats it. So Frank and George are sitting there, and George goes swimming in the water, and whoop, a shark eats him. And George thinks, oh no, if I go in, I'm going to get eaten. What am I going to do? No other animal can do this. So Frank thinks, I know what I'll do. I'll turn my heart off. I'll just turn it off so it stops pumping. And now when he goes swimming in the water and he gets lots of food, he eats it, he's just swishing around, and the shark doesn't hear him and he doesn't get eaten. And he's got a big full tummy, and he crawls back up on the land, and then he dies. Because he forgot to learn to turn his heart back on again. You understand what I'm telling you? Can you turn your heart off? No, nobody can. Well, how could you do that? It would take thousands of changes. His body would have to get oxygen different ways. His muscles would have to work different. His brain would have to be able to learn to turn it on and then turn it back off again. And they'd all have to be there, or the first time he tried it, he would just die. Because if our heart stops, we die. See, those are the kind of things God does. So when we see them, we'll know they couldn't just have made themselves. The only answer is the knowing that God made that animal to be able to do that. Now, isn't that cool? Okay, 2 more animals. Okay, the next to last one is called the bar-tailed godwit. Now, again, this bird can do what no other bird in the whole world does. Now, I like him because he's called the godwit, and he's not called the evolution wit. Because everybody on all the schools and all the shows, they're trying to say evolution made things instead of God. Well, that's not true. And this is one of those animals that shows us that. You see, this bird lives in Alaska all summer, and there's lots of food in Alaska in the summer. But in the winter, it's really, really cold, and there's not much to eat. So when it becomes like September and October, the godwit, it flies all the way to New Zealand. That's like almost the diameter of the earth. Almost halfway around the earth across open ocean. Now, if you look at this bird, it has these long spindly legs, and it doesn't have like duck feet which holds all together. It just has little fingers. So if it lands in the water, it's got to fly 7,000 miles without ever stopping. It takes almost a whole week. Day and night has to flap its wings, flap its wings, flap its wings, flap its wings. If it ever stops flapping its wings, it's going to land on the ocean and it's going to die. There's no land anywhere to land on. It's got to keep flying 24 hours a day, day after day after day. Scientists measured how much fat does that bird have. That's like its fuel. That's like how much gasoline is in the bird's tank. And they discovered it doesn't have enough fat. It doesn't have enough fuel to keep flapping its wings for 7 days continuously. So how does it get all the way to New Zealand? They couldn't figure it out. And then they discovered they had weighed the bird too soon. Because the last week before it takes off, it eats and eats and eats and eats, and it gains 55% in its weight. So now it's like great big fat. Like if I weigh 200 pounds, a week from now, I would weigh 310 pounds. I'd be really fat. And now it's like a big old blimp, and it's not very efficient, and it still couldn't fly that far. So even though it has enough fuel, it's too big and fat. So the very day it takes off, it starts to get rid of all the water. It like turns that really juicy fat into a real solid jet fuel. And then all of its inside organs, like its liver and its stomach and its kidney and its intestines, they all like get squished paper flat. And then all that fuel takes up that space and it becomes really streamlined again, like a super sleek jet. And now it can fly for 7,000 miles without stopping. But if any of that didn't happen, if it didn't have a way to eat a whole bunch, if it didn't have a way to get rid of the water, if it didn't have a way to shrivel up its organs, if it didn't know exactly where to go, and it doesn't like have a map, it just knows how to get there, it would fall into the ocean and die. God gave it all those abilities so it could do what it needed to do. Isn't that cool? It's awesome. Never lose your awe of what God has done. Every day, when you look at a leaf, when you look at a sunset, when you look at a grasshopper, when you look at a dog, when you look at the hairs that keep you warm on your head, they're all miracles that God has designed. And none of them could make themselves. There's even animals that put out light. And there's not just one, there's 38 completely different animals that make different colors and different kinds of light. Just like the sun puts out light. There are jellyfish under the ocean that glow a bright blue. There's little plankton that are so small you need a microscope to see them, but millions of them will grow, and when they're washed up on the seashore, the whole seashore lights up blue as soon as the waves crash. In the Amazon jungle, when you're walking along, at night you might see a bunch of mushrooms that are glowing a bright green. Wouldn't that be cool? Great green color, yeah. That's awesome, but we're not done yet. Deep down in the ocean, there are squid, and they're almost like a billboard where stuff flashes across their backs in blues and greens and oranges and yellows, and it's constantly changing and moving like a bright neon billboard. And even way down deeper in the ocean, there are these fish called dragonfish. Does he look friendly? No. If I was a little fish, I wouldn't want to be swimming near him. But he has a light bulb hanging out in front of him. He does. It's kind of like, hang on, let me just demonstrate. It's kind of like this. So he's just swimming along and swimming along. And then when the other fish see the light, they what's that light? And they come closer, and he just grabs them, and he has his supper. Because God put a light bulb on a stalk in front of him. Anybody know a creature around here that has a light and shines? Anybody? Lightning bugs, exactly. God put a light bulb on the butt of a bug. Think about that. He put a light bulb on a bug's butt. Isn't that, it's just crazy. Now, I want you to think about something. Sometimes bad things happen to you guys. Sometimes you don't get what you want. Sometimes your parents are having troubles. Sometimes you're stressed at school. Sometimes people aren't nice to you. But God knows these things are happening, and He can use them in your life to make you a stronger person. See, if God can put a light bulb on the butt of a bug, don't you think God can help you be a stronger person when bad things happen? He can, but you have to trust Him. And you start trusting Him by trusting Him as Jesus who came to save you and bring you to heaven someday. Now, here's your verse I want you to remember right now. God says that when we have Jesus as the one who is our Savior, Jesus is the one who saved us from our sins and from the bad things we do and forgives us. When we know that, then we become children of light, not children of the day, not of the night or of darkness. We're able to help Him be our light. And even when bad things happen, we still know that God's there protecting us, loving us, taking care of us. So I want you to remember this part of the verse, the parts in yellow. I'm not going to say it, and then I want you to say it with me. You are the children of light, not the children of the night. We're of light, not night, when we have Jesus. So now everybody say that. You are the children of light. We are not of the night. One more time. You are the children of light, not of the night. Remember that when bad things happen. And never forget the awesome things God has made and how awesome He is by looking at what He's made. Thank you. Okay, who's next? All right. There we go.
All right. Oh.
You can cuddle up with that while you wrap up.
All right. What a tremendous lecture, and I trust you'll remember all of that. Now we're looking forward to a very special day. So listen to how I dismiss here. All of the adults, the ladies and the men, to your workshops. You may go ahead and exit and go down the hallways there to